Hi, Jill. Um, I'm hoping that I can maybe get some advice on how to explain death to children. My children are 8 and 4, and we have recently lost their great grandfather. It's the first time that either of them have experienced death, and I don't really know how to talk about it with them, how much to tell them, and how much is too much. Yeah, any advice would be really appreciated. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? It's tricky to know, like you said, what words do you use or how do you talk about it and what will make them scared and what will make them feel comforted. So I don't think there is any just one way to do this, and obviously you have to you know your children better than anyone. But one of the ways that I think can help them understand is if you get them to imagine the seasons, for instance, and I get them to imagine leaves on a tree, and you say to them, in the spring, the leaves come out and things start to bud, and everything is young and healthy, and then we watch them thrive in the summer, and then in the autumn, they go a bit brown and a bit dry and a bit crisp, and then we watch them fall away in the winter, and then it all starts again. That is a life cycle. And I think if you can explain to them what a life cycle is with something that is more inanimate, then you can say, and that's what we are like. We all have a cycle of life, and we're born and we're little, and that's like in our springtime, and then we grow up in our summer, and then in the later years is our autumn, and then the winter is when our bodies decide that they've been around for a long time and they're very tired, and the body sort of struggles a little bit more and is just gets a bit tired, and then the body needs to go to sleep and needs to go back into the ground or in the air or however you want to phrase it. And then because new energy will come back and new life will be sprung. And every time, you lose someone, there are also millions of little babies being born every day. And it's just explaining the life cycle I mean, I'm not saying that was totally scientific, but what I mean is it is a genuine thing to say something's a life cycle, but also to make them just less scared and to see that we, like the seasons, will go through different chapters of our lives, and just see how they respond to that. Knowing kids, they'll have a gazillion questions for you, and you probably can't answer them because their questions will be very advanced. At least that's what I found when I was talking to my son. But then it becomes a better conversation, because then you're finding things out, they're trying to work it out with their own logic, and then you can, for me anyway, I find it very comforting to think about the people that I've lost. I find it very comforting to think that they're still here and they're still around me. And they're in the air and they're in the trees and they're in the breeze and they're in the water. That is just something that I like to think about. And it may be something that you can tell your children as well, because what's really hard to grasp for a kid is that something was there and then it's gone. That's the usually the hardest concept of, like, how can something just disappear? And that's probably why I also like to think, well, it doesn't, their body might disappear, but their energy or their soul, that's still here. And if you kind of listen hard enough, you can hear them. And even if you want to close your eyes, and you might want to dream about them, or you might want to talk to them. And I think, like, giving them the idea that they could still be with you in a different way is also very comforting. It's something that even me as an adult, that's how I like to think about it as well. So